Hey, I'm Imran Siddiq and welcome to our Web Squadron podcast. Or you're probably watching this on YouTube right now so you can see me. But if you're listening to it in the car, I hope my sound is coming through very, very nicely. Hey, look, I run a web design agency. We do a lot of YouTube videos. We help people out with coaching and mentoring, but we're here to help you get the best out of WordPress, Elementor, to help you, your clients, and your business. Now, today's topic is all about are websites dead? It's quite a funny question, that, isn't it? Are websites dead? Because most of you probably access some form of a website on a daily basis, or on your phone, or if you're just walking around. And hey, how many adverts and things do you read and see where they have a website link? But in the last sort of like 10 years, and you might go, wow, really 10 years? But yeah, in the last 10 years, with the growth of social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other outlets, a lot of people have said, hey, I don't need a website. I can just use my Facebook profile or my shop there or the marketplace or apps like Spark or things like that as well. By the way, I'm not affiliated to anything of those products, okay? So I'm not trying to push any of them onto you. But hey, look, eBay, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I even went through this phase as well. So I used to have a website because I do creative writing. I write sci-fi, young adult, fantasy books. And I had a website where I advertised the books and what I'm doing on a daily basis, how many words I've done and how things are going. Wicked, wicked, wicked. Wonderful, fantastic. And updating the blog started to become a little bit of a chore, which I am going to say to you in other podcasts, if you want to do a blog because it's a great way to be found. But doing a writing blog, after a while, sometimes it did become a bit of a chore. You know, I'm caught between writing and doing the blog, writing blog, right? You can see where I'm going with this. And if you're doing a lot of social media, you're now having to do three things. And that's on top of your normal shopping, family life, and, you know, looking after your pets and your kids and stuff like that. And maybe the odd time when you're catching up on a Netflix show as well. You know where I'm going with this. And I started thinking, well, do I really need a website? I can just rely on Twitter and Facebook. I will put my blog on there. In fact, I would just write it once, copy and paste it into Facebook as well. There you go. I've killed two birds with one stone. This is amazing. And most people are probably going to read about me on social media as well. Now, I wasn't selling anything like products or clothing or anything, but this is the kind of mindset a lot of people are caught up into at the moment. So they think that, well, I don't need a website. I'll just I will just sell my products on Facebook Marketplace. And that can work for some people. I have to be honest, it can work to an extent when you have a very niche market or you're selling something where your images and your description stand out by a mile. So you just have to put an image on and say, this is what we have and this is the price, whatever. And people will go flocking and they will click the link wherever and they will purchase from wherever they got to purchase it from. But what if you're advertising services or you're providing a product or something that they could get anywhere else? And all you've done is put on a fancy image with a bit of lovely lettering that you've done in Photoshop or Canva or something, with a very powerful, impactful statement or headline. That is superb, brilliant. But have you done enough to convert them to part with their money to buy that product? Or maybe to contact you for a service. You could be a lawyer, solicitor, an architect, a counselor, psychotherapist, a dentist, right? The list goes on and on, personal trainer, okay? But have you done enough? Because you're going to put on an image on there showing you working out and you're sweating bucket loads now. You're lifting those weights and you're jumping around and you're grunting in those images. I can feel the grunt. Can you feel the grunt? Because I can feel it. But you're just using social media. But maybe if I've done a search for personal trainers or coaches, right, there will be other people out there who have probably got similar images. right? I don't mean to sound stereotypical here, but lawyers, solicitors, there's always going to be an image of them standing in front of a backdrop looking lovely and smart. Personal trainers, they'll either be there with their bottle having a drink, after a workout, or they're halfway through a workout, running, jogging, lifting weights, something like that. The architect, he'll be standing in a field or a car park with a blueprint or an image and a compass and a pencil behind their ear, or maybe an architect's act, or they're leaning over a table with loads of images, drawing them out. You get the idea. There's lots of stereotypical images. So what makes them different? Well, let's say you click on a social media post and that's it. It just takes you to their Facebook page and you see their comments and reviews and whatever, but that's about it. There is no major amount of added detail. Let me explain that again. If I go to your social media, what are you going to tell me in the about bit? Not a lot, really. You're going to tell me stuff to get me to grab my attention. I might then see who your friends are. I might see where you've been on holiday. I might see some images and blog posts, but I bet I see other stuff that actually has nothing to do with your business. There might be a picture of you like standing half naked on the beach. I don't know, right? Is that what I wanted to know about you? Actually, I wanted to know more about the product, the service, your testimonials. I wanted to know about possibly your prices. I wanted to know if you have any special offers. How can I contact you? Are there any prerequisites or things I need to think about before I contact you? Maybe you only work in a certain area. Do you have a map? I want to know all these things. In fact, I want to see loads more images about that product. I don't just want 1 or 2 images. I want loads more. Now, when you have a website, and most social media, good social media, there is a link taking them to someplace else to make the conversion or to provide them with the extra level of detail. So when you go to the website, that is where you are now able to show off everything I've just mentioned. And of course, some of you right now are going to be shouting down at me and saying, yeah, but that costs money. Yes, it does. Of course, you've got to invest in a domain and you've got to invest in hosting. I mean, I would recommend you use Elementor Cloud, and there's a link in our description below for you to go and click away and have a look at that, because it is definitely the best way to build a website. Elementor, I'm a firm believer in that for building websites, by the way. Super, super simple page builder, and the offering they give you with your hosting is amazing. You still got to get your domain, but hey, you can contact me if you have any problems or issues with that. Now, once you've got your domain and your hosting and your website built, you can do what you want with it. Okay? So where I was saying the easy route is you create a post and an image and you just put it out onto Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you want, okay? You just take a copy of that and you can stick it onto your blog post, your website as well. So create a blog post, release it on your website. Totally, totally okay and totally easy to do. You don't have to do this daily, but you can try and keep things in sync between your social media and your website. And don't forget, when you do a social media post, maybe you give them a snippet. You give them an image. You give them, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 sentences or a paragraph about what's happening. And then you're going to say, hey, see more. They click the see more. It takes them to the web page or the blog post or however you want to set it up. And that's where you might have some advertisements. And I'm not talking about advertisements for products and affiliates and stuff that are nothing to do with you. I'm talking about your services. I'm talking about maybe an offer you've got going on. I'm talking about something that relates to your business. If you're a web designer, I'm pretty sure you'll have a link on there for your preferred hosting solution and things like that. So you can start to use your website as more than just a website. The website is your window of opportunity. Okay, when people are looking, look, when you go to a website, right, if you're looking for a movie review, if you want to buy some trainers or you want to pick up some new products or whatever, you might go to maybe 4 or 5 websites because you're looking for a type of product. And you're going to make a decision on which website hooks you, reels you in, and keeps you there. It might not convert you instantly, But there was something about the headline, even the logo. Don't discount the logo here. Something about the logo, the headline, the hero banner. The hero banner, if anyone's not sure, is that thing you see right as soon as you go to the page. It might be a video, it might be an image. Something that just kind of makes you go, yep, I'm in the right place. When you go to the shopping mall or your shopping centre and you see tons of shops, there's loads of clothes shops. Why do you always go to certain shops? Is it because of the name of the shop? Yeah, that can impact on some people's decision making. Or is it the way they presented themselves in the windows? The way they've made their clothing look, sometimes the prices as well. What was it about them that drew you in? And it goes down to like shops where you buy food as well. Sometimes familiarity kicks in and you all want to head over to McDonald's because you know what you're getting from McDonald's. But that comes back to your website as well. When you build your brand with social media and what you're advertising and what you're talking about, your website has got to reinforce that. What you can't do is make your social media really fun and gimmicky, and they come to your website and it looks dated, boring, and old. You got to kind of keep them in unison. That is how you are going to attract attention, keep them on your website, and eventually convert them. Hopefully quicker than sooner, or sooner than later, or quicker than sooner. My words don't make sense half the time, do they? I know, I just waffle a lot. So, are websites dead? That was the question I posed right at the start. And I'm going to say no, they are not dead. Because I did a complete 360 and it didn't take long. It was within 6 months I started to realise, right, so I'm using social media to death here. But there is only so much I can say. This is back in the day when I think it was 140 characters for Twitter. There's not a lot you can say in 140 characters, believe me. Even with Facebook, if you create a really long post, it gets boring. I use LinkedIn, but I don't like to do really long posts because people sometimes stop reading. You want to grab them and you want to get them over to your website as quick as possible. And that's where you can really show off, okay? Maybe you're a book writer or an architect or you're selling something. You can have lots more images now, lots more items that are hopefully going to relate to your target audience. Who is your ideal client? But websites are not dead, okay? And I could even give you another analogy. I write books, okay? I remember in 2011, there was a big thing going on everywhere. Paperbacks are dead. Hardbacks are dead. The future is ebook. Big authors out there were looking into new solutions with digital ebooks. Can we do like smell-o-vision with the book? Can we do it when you click on a word, when you're reading the book, when you get to that bit and it sees your eyes, you start to hear sounds like a unicorn running across the field or something like that. Or a dinosaur roaring, or the sound of nature or a car beeping. Can we do all that? People were looking into that massively. A lot of digital ebooks back then as well were starting to experiment with the fact that when you even have images on the ebook that move. They didn't always work out well if you had a Kindle if they were trying to do that. But ebooks were massive. You must remember that. 2011, okay, and going forwards, ebooks were huge. And everyone was saying, oh, bookstores are going to shut down. And of course, some bookstores did. But a lot of that wasn't all down to just ebooks. A lot of that was just down to the market and how people were thinking differently with what they were spending their money on. However, paperbacks are still selling stupendously well. Hardbacks are still being bought as well. If someone wants a book, they will get it. And I have to be honest here. I prefer a paperback. There is something about the feeling of paper, sometimes the smell that you get from an old or a new book. There is something about it. And sometimes when you pick up a book and you can see it's worn, it's been well read, it's been loved or whatever, you just suddenly want to go through it. That's just how I am. Digital books, amazing. I love them too. But if I had to make a choice, I'd always go for the paperback. Not because they look great on the shelf, but because they are so amazing. So how come 11 years on, since I was at writing festivals and there was tons of serious conversations going on about the ebook, right? Amazon, all about, the ebook, it's taking over. 10 years time, paperbacks will be gone, removed, out of existence. You'll have to go to a museum to see one. We're still reading them, okay? And that just kind of brings full circle what I'm trying to say about websites. Websites are not dead. They're still here. You're still using them. When was the last item of clothing you bought from social media or Facebook Marketplace or something like that, compared to how many items you might have bought on a website? What's the number? Tell me, shout it out. And if I hear a loud number, I'll repeat it. But I'll pretend I heard something there. So this is kind of saying that if you are a business or you're trying to get out there and be found and you're relying just on social media, you need to take a step back and I would say invest in getting a website. And I'm not talking about spending thousands and thousands here. You can do it yourself with Elementor, okay? Or you could even contact us and we could help you build a website as well. We could do all of it, part of it, however we want to work with you. But I would say invest in getting a website built because it will become something that will be indexed and crawled by Google. So if you've got a business and someone searches for your business, they might come across it with a Facebook or a social media post, right? They often get caught in the Google search results as well. But there is a higher chance you will be found with a website because of the images, the content, the blog posts, and the stuff you put out there. And we have to be honest here, okay? You could do a blog post every day of the week, right? Every day of the week? Yeah, every day of the week. So that's going to be 365 posts a year. You could do that. Who's going to want to go through Facebook and go down, or even Twitter, or even Instagram images, or whatever, and go down 365 to find what they're looking for? Because remember, social media does not have the best searching mechanism, does it? What if you wrote a post about house conversions or extensions? I've now got to find it in your social media because you can't even remember what day you did it. But if you've got a website with a blog post or an archive, I can do a search for it and find it. There you go. You probably could even pull it out for me and send me the link because it's on your website. You'll have the URL for it. You could have a product where you're selling trainers and you can say, hey, by the way, we sell tons of other trainers and here's the link to it. I don't have to do another social media post. I can direct you to where you need to go. Hey, I do architecture. I design houses. You want to know about our services? Here's the page and here's what we do. Here's the different type. Here's the testimonials. Here's the images. So our website's dead. Yes, if you choose to let them be dead. But if you open your eyes, they are very firmly alive. Hey, I hope you're liking this. And I hope you stick around and join us in more of our future podcasts. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, and follow. And I'll keep seeing you, and you'll keep hearing me.